goated anime you can't watch anymore? Copyright
Pop
reasons or
quiz
what?
time. What English streaming service do you use if you want to watch?
Full Metal Alchemist.
No, not that one.
Oh hell. What the hell is that? What the Oh hell.
Yeesh, definitely not that one. No, I'm talking about Full Metal Alchemist,
The
the original
original?
classic 2003 anime.
I couldn't tell you, bro.
The one that put Studio Bones on the map and turned my generation from kids who watched the big three after school into capital A anime fans. The one that gets unfairly written off because Brotherhood exists, even though it mostly stands on its own merits, has generally better animation and storyboarding, and low-key, the whole first half of the anime is kind of better. I was gonna make a
No, bro. Bro, there's no reason why you should ever watch the original when Brotherhood exists. Yeah, there are some emotional moments in the original that stand out more, but bro, are you really gonna go for this like 2% better emotional engagement over a show that just looks better 90% of the time? Because if so, well then hell, go read a book, bro.
Never heard of it joke here, but if you're watching this a couple years from now, there is a distressingly high chance that is actually the case, because the answer to that pop quiz is none of them. Well, none of the legal ones anyway. You used to be able to watch FMA03 and its god-tier dub on Funimation Now, Netflix, and Amazon Prime, but
Don't tell me this is lost media.
Back to Aniplex a few years ago, it began fading from those platforms one by one, and now there's straight up no way to watch it besides buying the increasingly expensive out-of-print DVDs and Blu-rays, or, of course, though interestingly, you can still watch The Conqueror of Shang.
I didn't get it. I was like, One Piece, but pirate. Yeah, if you could pirate it, then hell yeah. Bro, I'm not gonna lie. Legitimately, like this is like a super political take, but regardless, the way that the world is moving, companies are taking more and more from us every single day, and governments aren't stepping in to help. If anything, they're being lobbied, right? So these companies are lobbying for the government to pay for them and their services instead of us, the civilians and the people that elect these government officials in power. Well, people like money so much that they're willing to take things that we own as a consumer and not give us anything else in return. Instead, they charge us even more with all these subscription services for lackluster content or stuff that's not even in the original media, right? So, yeah, pirate. Pirate almost anything. If people want to stand on some moral high ground, they're legitimately a capitalist bootlicker. Fuck what they got to say. Do what you got to do for your entertainment, because your entertainment, hell, it's not like it's affecting the artists that originally created it, because this shit is like 15 plus years old. So yeah, if you're gonna pirate some anime, pirate the anime. If you want to pirate video games, pirate video games. At this point, you might as well, because if not, you're just gonna get fucked. I'd rather do the fucking personally.
Shambhala movie on Crunchyroll, just with no context as to how Ed ended up in Weimar, Germany right before the rise of the Nazis. Okay, look, I know it's nowhere near
When the hell did that happen in FMA?
Hiromu Arakawa cooked up, but you gotta admit, some parts of that anime original ending are pretty fucking metal. Sorry, getting off track.
What the hell?
I'll save that argument for its own dedicated video.
Yeah, I don't remember any of this happening. But,
right
now,
now,
got cut for a reason,
my concern is that FMA is far from the only great old anime that slipped through the cracks like this. I mean, you'd think after Funimation and Crunchyroll were bought and merged by Sony, they could have worked out some kind of deal to get the license back from Aniplex, which is also part of Sony, but instead of bringing anime back, now, there's a whole bunch of anime that they just straight up forgot to bring over to Crunchyroll when they shut Funimation Now down a couple months ago. So my aim with this video is to shine a spotlight down through those cracks onto some of the gems we've lost, in hopes that all the shiny sparkles might spur some of you to seek them out, you know, by whatever means necessary, and ideally put some pressure on Crunchyroll and other anime licensors to resurrect at least a few of them. Though, to be frank, the chances they actually will are about as likely as Ed and Al's of bringing their mom back.
0.005% chance. And even whenever you do get her back, she's like half undead anyway.
Thinking about what we've lost is just as horrifying as that scene. This is definitely not hyperbole. Like, while we're on the subject of FMA, that's not even the only Hiromu Arakawa classic that's been abandoned in the last couple years. The heroic legend of Arslan is one of my personal all-time faves, an epic work of historical fantasy about the deposed prince of not Persia gathering allies and raising an army to take back his father's throne, dogged at every step.
I can tell. I'm not seeing a lot of brown skin around here. This is definitely not Persia.
By the traitors and invaders who stole it from him. Bro. You know, classic war drama stuff, written by the guy behind the most legendary classic anime war drama of all time, Legend of the Galactic Heroes. See, originally Arslan was a novel by Yoshiki Tanaka with illustrations by the equally legendary Yoshitaka Amano, and that novel was so damn good, it's been adapted 4 separate times. Way back in 1991, they turned it into both a manga and a 6-part OVA series, which you can still watch illegally on YouTube.
Hell yeah.
If you're curious. It's an excellent PowerPoint presentation.
Well, if it's on YouTube, then it must be legal, right? It's owned by Google, and Google owns everything, so it must be legal.
Presentation on why Amano's character designs just are not great for animation, no matter how much money you throw at them. Then, like a decade later, Arakawa took a crack at turning it into her own style of manga, which then got optioned for 3 seasons of anime, which, in contrast, serve as a beautiful demonstration of why her designs work so well in animation, even on an extremely...
Bro, you definitely, this is a great anime. If she was willing to put this much, they were willing to put this much emphasis and delay on this slam, I can only imagine how good their, best fights are.
Her designs work so well in animation, even on an extremely limited production. Now, ultimately, that anime was never finished, so even if it was still available, her manga would be the best way to experience the story, and you can still read that on Bookwalker. Promo code basement. But nonetheless, the anime's loss is a tragedy. It had some beautiful cinematography and music.
It looks dope.
Of course, if you are a fan of Arakawa, it's probably for her writing at least as much as her art, so maybe that's not all that disappointing for you, but don't you worry, you still get to be disappointed about her other cult classic that's lost down the memory hole now. Gin no Saji, or Silver Spoon, is a delightful shonen slice of life.
That's a good-looking chicken, boy.
Learning the facts of life at an agricultural high school, based loosely on Arakawa's own childhood at her family's ranch in Hokkaido. If you've ever wanted to know about the ins and outs of farming, the nitty-gritty, the good and especially the really uncomfortable bad parts where you gotta wake up at like 4 a.m. and dig your way through animal shit, this anime is so educational. And wait,
bro, oh my god, thank you for reminding me I need to rewatch Golden Boy. Thank you.
Hold up a sec. Okay, whew. Golden Boy's still on there, but
it better be.
Spoon is not.
It's on YouTube
and
too.
That is a crying shame because in addition to its legitimate educational,
I ain't gonna lie,
that is a crying shame because in addition,
why that cow looking at me like that? Why that cow looking at me like that? She must be wanting to turn into a burger or something. Double cheese, feel me?
To its legitimate educational value, this is one of the best darn coming-of-age stories I've seen. The characters are as delightfully quirky as anyone in FMA. It manages to find drama in very surprising places, and the humor is Arakawa at her funniest, which is really saying something. Also, the OP slapped. Speaking of beautifully down-to-earth, coming-of-age type things with amazing openings, Baby Steps, which longtime viewers will recognize as that one tennis anime I won't shut up about, also isn't available in English anymore. Actually, that license also lapsed a couple years back before Funimation disappeared and just never got renewed, which was my personal canary in the coal mine for this whole issue. Most of you probably won't care too much about that one, but you should, especially if you enjoy Silver Spoon, because Baby Steps has a very similar way of handling its characters, plus some of the best mind games in sports anime, amazing romance, and okay, I'll move on to a different comment.
I'm not gonna lie, tennis is like watching a different version of NBA 2K. Hear me out. So in NBA 2K, when you got the point guard, they do this thing called dribble cheese, where they get the ball and they just go between their legs, but they go left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, and then you eventually lose them because you just keep going left and right, and then they pull up and they shoot and they make it. It's like that with tennis. You hit the ball left, they hit it right. You hit it left, they hit it right. Then you hit it right, and then they hit it left, and then they hit it left, and then they hit it right. And then it's like this motherfucker all the way over here. He hit the ball. Now it's over here. You're right here, so you just hit it that away. And it's like, bro, he got to run all the fuck way over here. Like, yeah, congratulations, bro.
Sports anime,
That's tennis.
amazing romance, and okay,
Sometimes they put some cool
I'll
spins
move
on it,
to a
though.
different coming of age anime with more general audience shock value. That's right, Eureka 7, one of the defining
I used to like this
series
show.
for cultured millennial bionics enjoyers like me and our equivalent Toonami heads down.
Yes, this is legitimately one of the only animes from like Toonami that I remember like actually watching and enjoying, but I never really got into it. You feel me? It's like it's one of those shows where when it came on, I enjoyed it. But I wasn't ever like, oh man, I can't wait for the next episode of Eureka 7, even though I really did enjoy it. It's kind of same for me with like Blood as well. Like Blood would come on, I'm like, oh man, this show's cool as stuff. Even though it's like super slow. It's like, oh yeah, this show's pretty cool. That's dope. I like the OVA. That's cool. But you know, I never really kept up with it.
Was not considered worthy of bringing over to Crunchyroll when Funimation shut down.
What?
One of the best dubs
That's
they ever
crazy.
put out, and arguably the best original anime that Studio Bones has ever made. It's just fucking gone from
This looks
all
absolutely
subscription
amazing.
streaming sites, as is one of the other defining mecha series for older millennials especially.
Bro put a cape on his
Vision
Gundam.
of Escaflowne, a peak of late-stage pre-digital animation from back when isekai was mostly a mecha subgenre. Oh, and while we're on the subject of Toonami, they also forgot to bring over Outlaw Star, you know, the other space cowboy anime, the one that
looks
awakened
cool.
most of my generation's love of cat girls. And while we're still speaking of Toonami and awakening things, you know,
We love cat girls.
the seminal
Yeah.
Dynax OVA
One of the greatest animes ever made about adolescence.
that redefined what anime could be in the digital age and redefined what sex jokes could be forever.
If I rush, it won't pop. Go slow.
Well, don't worry. You can still watch an anime called
You can watch it on
Fooly
YouTube.
Cooly on Crunchyroll, but I hope you like alternative and progressive because that's all they got. The original is now exclusive to Hulu and AdultSwim.com, while Outlaw Star
cool.
is
So you can
only
still
on
watch it.
Hulu, which leaves us poor Canadians with no option but to buy them digitally from Apple TV or Amazon Prime, and you Americans just kind of waiting out the clock until those licenses run out. But at least those are still available legally in some digital capacity for now. Escaflowne and Eureka 7 likewise are still on Apple TV to buy, $51 for the latter, $26 for the former. So it's not like they're actually gone for good just yet. It's just more of an expensive pain in the ass to watch them now. Actually, the same goes for a lot of historically important and culturally relevant anime that were on that big list of
Durarell's
shows
not on
Crunchyroll
there?
failed to pick up, which you might have
Oh,
seen doing the rounds a
man.
month or so back if you're in the habit of discussing anime online. Not trying to be an alarmist.
Street Fighter
here. Some of
Assassin's
those
Fist
are
made
even
it.
still available on streaming
hell?
services that you still have in some capacity, just without their English dubs, which is absolutely tragic if we're talking about, say, Gurren Lagann.
If there isn't a path, then we carve one ourselves! The magma of our souls burns with a mighty flame! Just who in the hell do you think we are?
Power of Friendship anime.
Or, in some very strange cases, without the original Japanese audio. Also, there are some weird edge cases like Gundam Unicorn, where technically it is still
I hear this is really
available,
good.
but not the original OVA, just the shitty TV cut that keeps inserting increasingly chunky last time on recap segments that eventually take up like half
Ass.
of each episode. So you
Ass.
can still watch
I wanna
it
see
just
this.
in the most
Yeah.
dog shit way possible. Even
Sounds
FMA
terrible.
can still be bought digitally if you live in America, but only from Fandango at Home on demand, which is also at present the exclusive digital home for Darker Than Black for some reason. It is
Never
still,
seen it.
thankfully, rare for certified classic anime that are still that widely beloved in the English fandom to just be completely inaccessible, like, say, Evangelion was before Netflix grabbed it, and Baccano has been for years now, despite having one of the greatest dubs of all time.
How are we
Word.
gonna do that? We don't have enough money to buy a non-expensive gift.
Then we'll just have to commit a train robbery.
Oh, that's a great idea.
All right.
It's a
Then
great
just
idea.
Like before, the only way to steal is to steal from the mafia.
And in most of those
What?
cases, the
Oh man, I gotta watch this show. I already know some crazy shit go down.
real problem has more to do with complicated legal and licensing issues, like the whole shitstorm around Macross and Robotech, than anime companies simply not giving a at all. Because they do know there's some money still to be made on all those series off of all of our collective nostalgia. Now, the anime that we really have to be worried about, and the ones that I use those more prominent titles to bait you into hopefully still listening to me about at this point in the video, are the cult classics like Baby Steps and Silver Spoon that are disappearing, and Samurai Flamenco, which you might remember me mentioning in my review of Bang Brave, Bang Braver in a little while back. I just made that connection because it has the exact same vibe of absolute insanity where you never know where the plot's gonna go next.
Damn, he got his shit
seriously,
sent.
no hyperbole. Samurai Flamenco
The
had me
hell?
shouting,
Magical girl?
holy shit, what? Like literally out loud at my TV every 3 episodes or so, as it went from this kick-ass style story about a wannabe real-world superhero styled after Kamen Rider rather than Superman, who just gets his ass beat night after night by
For real.
the pettiest of criminals as he slowly gets stronger, to suddenly he's fighting real mutant alien monsters straight out of an actual Kamen Rider episode, but he's
Okay.
still just a normal guy in a bike helmet with like a taser, and the guillotine gorillas straight up murdering cops right in front of him. And that's just the first twist out of, I can't even count how many. Normally, I wouldn't even spoil that much of the show. I'd just say, trust me.
Fuck that. You need to show people that. Show me the Gillet, because now I'm invested. At first I was like, okay, cool. It's a Kamen Rider dude getting his ass beat. Now you telling me he go against a gorilla that be chopping people's heads off and he somehow win? Now I'm invested. So yeah, sometimes you do gotta spoil some stuff. Because if not, I mean, bro, you only gonna get the really, really, really anime lovers to really even check something out, bro. You gotta give it so more people are actually interested, brother.
Go watch this anime. But of course, I can't do that now because Samurai Flamenco is gone. So you have to either go to some sketchy ass website to watch it, which I cannot in good faith recommend,
I'm good,
or
bro.
torrent it, which is a lot safer and also way better for media preservation. We'll get to that later. But is also a massive pain in the ass. that
Damn,
a lot
he
of
getting his
kids
ass
today
whooped.
straight up don't know how to do because
Yeah.
digital literacy's gone way down since the rise of apps. Sorry, I'm rambling
Yeah.
again. It's the
Oh,
anime
man.
like that and the gleefully
I never got into torrenting. A lot of people were, not a lot of people, but there was always that one kid in school that always had like all the games and all the TVs on like the school laptops and shit. Do y'all still got school laptops, by the way? Anyways, he would have all that shit and he'd be like, yeah, you got to go here. You got to get the file. You got to transfer. I'm like, yeah, fuck all that. So yeah, definitely the literacy has gone down because convenience has gone up. I mean, it is what it is. Less people know how to cook because fast food exists. Like, it is what it is, bro.
insane World Conquest's Zvezda plot, Rage of Bahamut Virgin Soul, once hailed as the Pirates of the Caribbean of anime, Masaki Yuasa's avant-garde mind-blower Tatami Galaxy, Gainax's deeply absurd pre-SAO isekai magical shopping arcade of Benobashi, and
Ben 10.
perhaps most tragically for me
outfit.
personally, recreators that really suffer
That look
from
fire.
this. The weird, wonderful, experimental, deeply personal anime that a few hardcore evangelists fell in love with years ago and keep recommending to anyone who will listen. Anime that are important in every sense but the financial. Those are in the most danger of just being lost to time and apathy. Because, of course, you can still watch them, obviously, if you know where to go, but it is so much harder to convince the average anime viewer to go there than it is to ask them to open their Crunchyroll and throw it in a queue. And
I don't even got that, brother.
it's even harder to ask them to go out and buy an expensive DVD or Blu-ray for an anime they haven't even tried out yet.
Is that Colonel Sanders? And who the hell still has a DVD?
And as time goes on and the anime streaming market calcifies and there's less and less incentive for streamers to compete on the sheer volume of shows they have, more and more of these obscure anime are just gonna up and disappear. I mean, license renewals aren't free. The line's got to keep going up. And
Blue
there
Dragon.
Definitely isn't an infinite number of people out there who even want an anime streaming subscription to begin with, especially not with how many other streaming services.
Damn, that piece will look good as fuck, boy. What the hell, boy? That cheese pull on it. Oh, boy.
Hard to do the math and see where things are going here. Hell, I brought this up before, but one of the best shows this season, Girls Band
Look, guys,
Pride, a hilarious and heartfelt blend of comedy and drama written by the immensely talented Juki Hanada, same guy who gave us A Place Further Than the Universe, and animated with some of the most cutting-edge CGI techniques in the whole anime industry, has already slipped through these cracks. Doomed to be a niche otaku obscurity before it even started airing, when it deserves so much more.
This looks actually really, really good.
Before it...
Like, look at the food, bro. Look at the drinks, bro. Look at the expressions, bro. Even the background got some stuff.
Even started airing.
Even though it's pretty stagnant. And you know what? I was joking when I said Hololive, but at the same time, bro, I could definitely see, I don't know if Hololive would do it, but like any big VTuber studio that has a big ass budget, if they were to make an anime, they definitely should go this route. Like Hologruh. This is like Hologruh 2.0. You feel me? This is a better Hologruh. You feel me? Look at the animation. Look how this shit is so smooth and so delicate, and it just transitions. Hologruh looks nice, but it don't look this motherfucking nice.
Industry.
This budget is crazy.
Has already.
But I think they definitely should do this. They should do something like this at Hololive. I can see Marine singing. I can see Girl playing the drums.
Slip through these cracks.
This girl look like Barbara from Genshin Impact.
Doomed to be a niche otaku obscurity before it even started airing, when it deserves so much more.
It looks good, bro. Wow. That's definitely Marine Sensho.
And it won't be the last great new anime to suffer that fate. The current phase of the anime streaming wars is all about big-ticket, buzz-generating shows like Frieren, Chainsaw Man, and Sakamoto Days, and even those are swiftly forgotten by marketing as soon as the new season's new.
So, can we mix like a 3D and like these smooth animations of the 2D? Is this something that's possible? Is there anybody that's doing this?
And even though,
because like, look at this. It's pretty nice.
Forgotten.
This dive, fire, extended, one hand.
As soon as the new season's new hotness rolls around.
Bro got jiggle faces on his
your favorite niche anime to find its place in history now, it's up to you to keep up the oral tradition by telling all your friends about it and never shutting up about it. And to make sure those friends actually can watch it, it's up to all of us to preserve the unofficial anime supply by learning how to safely torrent and, most importantly, keeping our seeds going like true internet gentlemen. Because the reality is, streaming licenses run out, illegal sites only keep going as long as they can pay their hosts plus their shit to begin with, and all physical media degrades eventually. Until big companies start caring about the long-term historical value
there is
of
no
their
incentive
art over its monetary value,
there's
and
no
put
incentive
real effort into preservation, so never. Decentralized file sharing is the best, most reliable tool we as fans have to keep our faves alive for future generations.
I wouldn't be surprised if there already is this idea, but I was thinking while he was saying all this, You know, have of course not a site, but have a digital vault of every. You know how like the Wayback Machine works? It's like a digital vault of everything that's happened online. Have something like that dedicated specifically for anime, and just have uh, now having the whole seasons of these animes is a bit much, but having at least one episode of all these animes that have been talked about, have one episode. Because I'm telling you, bro, having all these seasons and shit, that shit gonna add up, right? But have at least one episode, so you know the historic value, right? The incentive of having the historic value of these old animes that don't exist anymore. At least there is a form of the preservation, right? I don't want to live in a world where we don't have Anderson's muscles around. You feel me? We need to have this shit everywhere, and all these other animes that just die off or disappear. The tennis episode, like have one episode of the tennis episode. Why is the tennis anime so special to you? Well, here's one episode of it, and unfortunately, the rest is lost. But here is something. At least there's something. You feel me? Maybe one day when AI takes off even more, maybe a way to hook yourself up to the cloud physically, or well, not physically, but like I guess cognitively, right? Have your brainwave into the cloud to observe these animes and stuff like that, and like say like a augmented reality virtual living room. That'd be absolutely amazing. Maybe in the next 50 years, but we'll see.
Will we as fans have to keep our faves alive for future generations? Which, by the way, has always been the case. The only reason some Shakespeare plays are still around to bore middle schoolers today is because of play pirates who snuck into the audience and wrote the dialogue down on sheets of paper. Seriously. Look it up. That said, I said my piece on piracy and preservation way back in the time
Oh yeah,
stuff was wrong episode
I'd like to see this. How long is this episode? I love talking about piracy and ethics.
of our podcast up on the Basement Life channel if you want to hear me talk about that
Yeah,
more.
I'll check
we
it
also
out, bro.
talked about our move to Japan
Anti.
and the threat of AI translation in the newest episode, which was a really interesting conversation. Or if you'd prefer to watch something shorter, I recently did a game review of Another Crab's Treasure on there that I know most of you haven't seen yet, which might even inspire you to try your first Souls-like. This video and the Disney Plus one were actually originally slated for Basement Life too, but the issues at play felt a little too
This shit
important
look
to let the
beautiful.
algorithm potentially
FMA
bury them on a
goated, bro.
smaller channel. If you want more rambly rants like this though, plus fun off the cuff stuff,
Yeah, check out his other channels. I'm actually might just check out this video about piracy and stuff. But yeah, I gotta ask you guys one question before we leave. Full Metal Alchemist, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, regardless whichever one you want to pick, would you put it in your top 10 anime of all time? Because I personally would. I think I might make it number 8, maybe number 6. But yeah, you guys let me know in the comments below. I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good day. Thank you, Mother's Basement, for creating this amazing video. Bye bye.